Hey everyone, today we're going to take a look at line number 31 in our book, a Mozart melody. This is our first chance to use that new note we learned the other day. It was G for the flutes and for the trombones and tubas and percussion, and it was A for the clarinets and trumpets in the key of B flat. So when we learned it at first, we learned it in the context of a concert E flat scale, and we called it Mi. Now we're doing a concert B flat scale, and that new note is going to be La. It's one note higher than So in the key of concert B flat. So let's take a look at the book. On the screen, you can see my copy of the trumpet book for essential elements. You'll need to look at your own book because your notes may be different. I want you to take a look at line 31, and I want you to count how many times you see the new note that we learned at the top of the page. That new note would be a G, again, for the flutes, the trombones, the tubas, and the percussion. The new note's an A for the clarinets and trumpets. How many times do you see that new note in line 31? So you can see on the screen that I've underlined all 4 times that new note happens. Because this piece is in the key of concert B flat, we're going to use our concert B flat scale on our scale sheet. So you'll want to refer to that either in a hard copy or on another tab that you might have open. I'm going to sing chunks of this, and I want you to play it back to me. Do, do, so, so, la, la, so. Fa, fa, mi, mi, re, re, do. So, so, fa, fa, mi, mi, re. So, so, fa, fa, mi, mi, re. Do, do, so, so, la, la, so. Fa, fa, mi, mi, re, re, do. So as you can see, there are several patterns in here that end up repeating themselves. So we start with do, do, so, so, la, la, so. We can call that A. And then fa, fa, mi, mi, re, re, do. We can call that B. So, so, fa, fa, mi, mi, re. That's new. We can call it C. So, so, fa, fa, mi, mi, re. We can call that C again. And then do, do, so, so, la, la, so. That's the same as the beginning. That's A. Fa, fa, mi, mi, re, re, do. We could call that B. So we have several chunks that, every chunk repeats itself somewhere else in the song. So if we think about it strategically, we don't need to play the whole thing over and over again. We can find those trouble spots that give us trouble and focus on those and practice them. Let's take a look first at chunk A. All right, so in chunk A, the big thing is we have a fifth, a big skip of a fifth between C and G. Remember, when we're counting intervals, we count both the start and the end of the intervals. So if we have the notes C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can say that C and G are a fifth apart. Or if it were a flute part, it'd be B flat to F, and we'd have the same thing. Here's our B flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, F would be 5. So B flat and F are a fifth apart. So that's a big skip. Most of the other things we've been doing have either steps of seconds or skips of thirds. And now I've got a piece that is a leap of a fifth. This is going to be the biggest deal for the trumpet players, trombone players, and tuba players who have to make that big skip. And as a matter of fact, that's a skip we have to make on our instruments that that doesn't use any fingers at all. We just got to, both notes are in first position or open on our instruments, and it's all our lips making that change. So when I make that skip, it's all about speeding up the air, and I'm doing that by thinking about making a smaller opening of my lips, moving the air more quickly. In the back of my mouth, my tongue is arched up a little bit higher when I play the higher notes. So it's like saying, ah, ah, ee. And my tongue curves up there, it speeds up the air, and it makes that higher note come out. For the clarinets, all we have to do is finger the notes, C and G, and they should come out. That skip of a fifth comes out pretty easy. We just need to make sure that all of our fingers are moving in sync with each other so we don't get boom, blum. We don't want a bunch of extra sounds in between. For the flutes, the fingering that you use for that high F can also make a low F on our instrument. So it's really important when we go from B flat to C, we have to think of aiming our air a little bit higher. So pushing your chin out just a little bit will make that note come out higher. If you get do, do, so, so, you get a low so instead. Speed that air up, push your chin out a little bit, do, do, so, so, and that high note's going to pop out for you. Everywhere else in the song, as you've heard when we were doing the echoes, is all about steps. We just have to make sure that we're getting the first note of each of these phrases in the right place. So when we're from the end of the B section and the beginning of the C section, we have to make sure that we get that skip going up a fifth. If we are a brass player and we end up playing the same note here as we ended on, then all of section C is going to sound incorrect. So we have to make sure that we make that skip of a fifth. And then here, at the end of C, and going back to the beginning of the next C, we're going up a fourth from D to G, or from C to F. If I play the end of this line and the next note I play ends up being lower, that means a C would come out instead, or a B flat would come out instead, then I know that all these other notes are going to sound incorrect. So I've got to make sure I follow the contour of that melody and make that big skip up. Now let me play the entire tune for you, and I'd like you to listen once and then rewind, then I'd like you to play along with me. Here I go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's it for this lesson, guys. Make sure that you practice that along with the video. Practice the echoes that I did along with the video. And then I want you to go and practice it on Practice First, so you've got a good recording that you can submit to me for this week's practice assignment. That's it. Thanks for stopping by.